Today we're going to break down all the differences and similarities between Defense Attorney to JJK's Hiromi Higuruma, including who he is, what his curse technique is, and other secret facts. If you enjoy videos like this, then consider subscribing because it really helps creators like me be able to make more videos like this for you guys. Firstly, let's get to know who Defense Attorney is based on. Hiromi Higuruma was a Japanese defense attorney who often took on impossibly difficult cases in order to protect the wrongfully accused. He's not trying to save the weak and powerless. Hiromi simply can't leave things alone if he doesn't feel they're right. Higuruma was then selected by Kenjaku to be awakened and placed in the Culling Games. After gaining curse energy and his innate technique, he spent the next few days studying Jujutsu sorcery on his own to the point that he was able to create his own domain expansion. Just a reminder, domain expansions are the epitome of Jujutsu sorcery in the modern day, and no one in history has ever been able to make one that quickly, comparing Higuruma's potential to that of Satoru Gojo. But enough glazing, let's break down his curse technique. Judgment. Hiromi possesses a curse technique that allows him to conjure a large Shikigami with a black body that has 3 stubbed points that acts as 2 arms and a leg. Each arm holds a scale, and the Shikigami's white face has eyes that are sewn shut with 3 switches each. Judgment also has the ability to speak and is apparently impatient. The Shikigami, in combination with his curse tool, domain expansion, and superior intellect, is a deadly combo that could even kill Sukuna. Now let's talk about the cosmetic changes to your character. When equipped with Defense Attorney, you will get a gavel that you hold with your right hand. This is just like Hiromi's curse tool called Gavel. It is a highly versatile weapon that can change its proportions to emulate different weapons such as a hammer, staff, hook, and giant mallet, among other tools. Higurumi can conjure the weapon in either hand, allowing him to freely switch it between them as well as return it to his grip if he were to throw it or let go of it. And your gavel functions the same way in game. In the event of the death penalty, the gavel will change into the executioner's sword, but more on that later. As you can see, when you use your attacks, your gavel will change shape. And there are more passes in the game, but they apply to the awakening. Also, when you're in need of 2 hands, you will holster the gavel at the side of your hip. Lastly, your M1s are changed, with your second hit being 2 attacks in 1. Now before we get into the moveset, let's talk about the special. There isn't a specific special for base Defense Attorney, but using the special while doing attack will cause it to become a variant. So I'll be going over each move with the respective variants. And one thing I'm going to preface is that all these attacks are loosely based on Higuruma due to him being manga exclusive, and on top of that, not having a lot of screen time. The first move is called Extended Swings. The user turns their gavel into a hammer and swings it 3 times, before finishing off with a devastating ground slam that also bypasses ragdoll. This might be inspired by this sequence of strikes that he did to Yuji in chapter 165. Obviously these attacks are not going to be a 1-for-1, but Z did do a really good job at being creative while also still being manga accurate. Extended Swings also has a variant to it. If you were to press special while doing the attack, the user will instead follow up the 3 swings with a sweep using the handle of the hammer that will only target blocking players, knocking them down and applying heavy stun on wake up. This is not something that Higuruma does himself, but it was probably just a good idea of giving the character more versatility, and something that he could definitely do because he is a skilled armed combatant. There is also a finisher for this attack that will do this, but Higuruma isn't seen killing anyone or anything on screen. The next attack is Justice Served. The user starts charging up a powerful ground slam as their gavel enlarges to a comedic size, crushing the target under its force. This is just like the giant hammer he created to smush Yuji in chapter 165. There's also a variant for this attack that creates a large shockwave that will travel forwards. If the enemy is hit by it, they will be lifted in the air as the user swiftly spins towards them with a hammer swing. This is not inspired by anything specific though. There is also a finisher for this attack that will do something similar to Extended Swings and also doesn't come from anywhere. After that is Grapple. The user shapes their gavel into a grappling hook, then tosses it towards the target aimed on the cursor, causing it to latch onto them as the user pulls them in, stunning them for an extended period. This is inspired by Higuruma's use of his curse tool against Sukuna. In chapter 244, you can see Higuruma use it to grab onto Sukuna's hand and hold him into place, where he then opens his domain expansion. That's very similar to the in-game attack. The variant for this attack allows you to latch onto the person and swing behind them so you can initiate your next attack. Higuruma can be seen doing something similar in chapter 165 when he was trying to eliminate Yuji. The final base attack is called Twirling Strikes. The user twirls their gavel several times, pummeling the target before delivering a powerful blow that sends anyone caught in it flying upwards. And this move can grab multiple players at once. I literally couldn't find anything similar to this or the variant, so comment down below if you know it. Now let's talk about one of the best awakenings in the game. Domain Expansion, Deadly Sentencing. This causes you to open up your domain just like Akari's awakening. When open, you will see a courtroom type environment with guillotines all around. This is exactly like Higuruma's domain expansion in the manga. Just like the manga, you have 3 options while in this domain: confess to the crime, stay silent, or deny the accusations. You want to pick the same as the opponents to fill up your bar to get into your awakening. If you both confess, you will automatically get it, and whenever you awaken, you will always take away at least 1 move from your opponent. This is basically a very simplified version of the real domain because of the actual laws and rules that must be taken into consideration when having a trial, on top of the fact that Judgment is able to peer into your life and find crimes that you have committed, and Higuruma will get evidence to create his own case. Now, when getting all 3 bars, your domain will automatically close and you will gain the Executioner's Sword. Before we talk about that, let's talk about the special. Domain Amplification expands Hiromi's domain over his body like an aura, allowing him to neutralize curse techniques that come into physical contact with him. While Domain Amplification is active, his innate technique cannot be activated, causing anything created with it, such as the Executioner's Sword, to disappear. This is a technique that only 2 other sorcerers have been able to do, that being Sukuna and Gojo. So to keep it simple, it can nullify an attack, and that is exactly what the in-game version of it does. By pressing R, you will cause a blue and green aura to appear around you, and while this is active, you will not get damaged by the next attack landed on you. This cannot be done while in the middle of an attack and will work on almost everything in the game. Honestly, a perfect special for this character. After the domain expansion breaks, the user notes being slashed by the sword will result in death with no exceptions, then gains access to the Executioner's Sword, which kills any target upon the smallest cut. Instead of having 5 M1s, the user gains 2 extra M1s upon triggering their 3rd basic attack, giving them a total of 6 M1s. When landing these melee attacks, the opponent is shown dodging them, but they still get stunned and damaged despite that. The same animation happens if they're blocked, but the attacks will deal no damage or stun. This is a very similar animation to chapter 247, where you can see Sukuna dodging the Executioner's Sword just like that. The awakening lasts for 1 minute, and you will also get a passive. This causes any attack sustained by the user to have a 45% damage increase. Okay, now the first move is called Execution. The user charges up a quick forward stab with the Executioner's Sword. If the attack lands, an execution stack will be applied. The sword will impale the target's left arm as they quickly sever it to avoid the weapon's effect, before getting knocked back by a spinning kick. If landed again on the same target, the weapon penetrates their right foot, which they proceed to slice off before getting knocked away again. On the 3rd hit, the target falls over for the user to plunge the weapon into their head with a subsequent stomp to finish them off. I couldn't find anything like this in the manga, but the fact that you slice off your own limbs is a callback to when Sukuna did exactly that when Higuruma almost landed the Executioner's Sword in his palm. Following that is Final Judgment. The user begins running forwards before spinning around with a swipe of their cursed tool. Upon landing this move, both parties will engage in a full-on close fight consisting of their user swinging the Executioner's Sword several times while the enemy is doing their best to dodge it. This forces both the user and the opponent to press a random button to get the most percentage out of a bar that lies above their awakening meter. At the end, if the user wins the quick time event, they shall get behind the target and surprise them with a stab to their abdomen that marks their demise. If both parties end up seizing half the bar, then the winner will be chosen randomly. I think the run-up animation for this attack is very similar to what he did to Yuji in chapter 166, but the finisher is more like this attack Higuruma tries to land on Sukuna in chapter 246, right before bro gets destroyed. Also, if the user fails a quick time event, the target will dodge the stab by jumping over it with a spin, then proceeding to get kicked away by the user. Then comes Verdict. The user holds their sword by its blade to knock the target away with its hilt. If landed, they'll flip their weapon while dashing towards the target to slash them with the tool's edge. The first hit will inflict no stun. Due to this, the target can choose to block the second hit. If the second hit is a block, then it will have the same effect of execution, taking a limb away while dealing lower damage. If the second hit was blocked, then the sword will cut the target, killing them instantly. This is OG to the game, but I like the fact that you can use your special while in combination with this attack to get a one-shot. And finally, we have Triple Sentencing. The user propels their sword forward and regains it 3 times, each time applying an execution stack. If the target has reached its second execution stack, then it will dodge the first 2 throws, but not the last, as the user instantly teleports to them to stab them by the guts, causing them to dodge and jump up before getting hit by a horizontal slash, which knocks them away, instantly killing them. This is not inspired by any specific attack that he does, but the fact that you can throw the Executioner's Sword and call it back to you is something that Higuruma can do. Okay, now it's time to grade how similar Defense Attorney is to JJK's Higuruma. With most of the moves being OG to the game, the Executioner's Sword, and things like the special and the passive, I'm gonna give Defense Attorney a similarity rating of a B+ to Jujutsu Kaisen. If you made it this far, then you should go check out this playlist of all my explained videos for every character in the game, and some other games like TSB. Millz Mafia out. Yeah.